This may or may not be the third part of a trilogy. About a week and a half ago now, George Bush was re-elected as President of the United States. A few days ago, the major attack on Fallujah started, within which it's estimated that there are probably about 100,000 civilians trapped, while the Americans are attacking with immense force. And today Yasser Arafat was buried in Ramallah. While he's been ill the last week, there's been a lot of news about him and recent history in Palestine, and I've been thinking a lot about his kind of virtual house arrest in his compound there, because he wasn't allowed to leave because the Israelis wouldn't give any guarantee that he'd be allowed back if he left the compound. So I hear that he lived a very healthy life, but he can't have had a lot of exercise being cooped up in this small place. But anyway, eventually they allowed him to be taken off to Paris. I just closed this window and said that he would be allowed back. So he was taken to a military hospital in Paris, where I believe he died yesterday, or maybe the day before. So over the last few days, it's been sort of, I suppose one identifies with people. I've been thinking about what it must be like to be trapped in a place, and curiously, I'm in a hotel in Switzerland at the moment, in Winterthur in Switzerland, and I had a sort of reverse incarceration experience last night, because I came back to the hotel very late at night, and the hotel reception was closed, and my key wouldn't work in the lock, and didn't know what to do really. There was nobody in the streets, and I was trying the lock in the door for ages, and eventually a really nice I stopped this taxi driver who was incredibly helpful, and he tried to get the door open for me, and he couldn't manage it, but eventually we decided to go to another hotel, and then we went to the other hotel, and the guy at the other hotel said, "Oh, the police will have a key to your hotel." So we thought, okay, let's go to the police station. So then he drove me to the police station, and we went to the police station. They said, "No, we don't have a key to the hotel, but the Canton police have one, so we'll phone them." So they phoned them. They said, "Yeah, we've got a key." So they came down, and after waiting around for a bit, they turned up, and we followed them back to the hotel, and then the policeman got the key to the hotel, put it in the door, and that wouldn't open the door either, so he wiggled around it for ages, and this whole experience went on for about 2 hours, and I was locked out of the hotel. I was getting really, really pissed off. I was really tired, and anyway, eventually he managed to open the door, and I went in, and I came up to my room, and curiously remembered at that point that my room number was room 101. Here's the key here. So for any George Orwell fans out there, that's quite an interesting bit of reversal. But anyway, trapped outside the room, trapped outside the hotel. This is a hotel publicity. This is a picture of the hotel, and this is the front of the hotel. This is what it looks like. It didn't look like this last night though, because it was actually very, very dark. There were no lights on at all, except for one light at this window here. And the taxi driver actually suggested that we should throw some stones up at this window and get the person in the room to come and open the door for us. But I'd sort of thought of that myself before he came along, but I hadn't been brave enough to do it really, especially being in another country. But anyway, egged on by him, I picked up some stones and I was just about to start throwing them at the window, and he said, "Actually, it's not your room, is it?" And then I had a sneaking suspicion that it was, so we didn't actually throw any stones. And when I actually got back into the hotel, I discovered that indeed it was my room. I'd left the light on in before I went out. But anyway, at least in the end I didn't waste any time trying to wake myself up to let me into my room. But anyway, I've made several of these videos in hotel rooms, and the first one was in October 2001, and it was I was in Ireland, and it was when America and the USA, America are the USA, aren't they? America and Britain had started bombing Afghanistan. And anyway, I made this video then. But before that, I'd actually been in America on September the 11th, and I remember thinking when that happened, my first strongest reaction really was, what are America going to do now? And for 3 years, of course, we've been experiencing what they did do. But anyway, yeah, I was in New York on September the 10th, and then flew to Chicago on September the 10th. And on the morning of September the 11th, I woke up to see on live TV the World Trade Center being attacked. And the curious thing is that in this hotel room here that I'm in today, there's an image on the wall, a poster of the Art Institute of Chicago, which is actually the place where I was staying. I was doing a screening of my work at the Art Institute of Chicago, so that was why I was there on September the 11th. And it was very strange that that morning, looking out of the windows of the place where I was staying into the street, because a lot of people were just standing around looking up at the sky, because this is the Art Institute, by the way. But people were just looking up at the sky because there were still planes in the sky, because although they'd stopped any planes from taking off, there were still some in the air that had been flying around before the attacks had happened. And people were worried that, because Chicago actually has a lot of tall buildings of its own, that maybe one of those was going to be attacked. It seemed, to begin with, I think people didn't really rationalise it very much. They thought, oh, this is a attack against tall buildings. So anyway, here's one of them. And another curious thing about this picture is, in fact, that it's I don't know if you can see it properly, but the images of the street reflected in a window, so we've got a sort of double image here. And so in this picture, Chicago has its very own Twin Towers. But anyway, I'm not in Chicago. I'm in Switzerland. And Yasser Arafat's just been buried. And I wonder what's going to happen next. Who knows?